Jamal's one of the top reserves in the NBA. He's been named Sixth Man of the Year 3 times, most recently after the 2015-16 season. He's played 17 years and has career averages of 15 points, 3.5 assists in over 1,100 career games. Jamal has appeared in the postseason 7 times, including each of the last 5 seasons with the Los Angeles Clippers. He ranks 5th all-time in NBA history in three-pointers made and in the top 50 in games played. To tip off today's press conference,
his first game winner was against me and our team in Houston in 2004, where he banked a three-point shot in to win the game, and he ran around the court pretty excited. And then along the way, you realize anytime he came into the game, you had great concern because if he got going early, it was always a long night. When you look at his game logs, you see there's a lot of games in which he's got 25 points in 25 minutes, things like that. And I've coached against him in the playoffs. In 2010-11, I made the mistake of not doubling him in our first game, and he lit us up for 22 points, and they won the game, and then we had to adjust from there. But when you look at all the things that he's done, the 69 playoff games, he's a big shot maker. He's not afraid to take big shots. I think he has the all-time record for 4-point plays. Was one of the things that we always were concerned with. It doesn't take him much room to get a shot off. He can create his own shot at any time. So we're real excited to have him. Again, it's the veteran experience. It's what he's done. The poise that he plays with under pressure, I think will be a great addition to our team.
This is another great day for us in the off season, and we welcome Jamal and his family. We also welcome Aaron Goodwin, his longtime agent. Thanks for being here, Aaron. I go back to the 2000 draft, and I had a chance to sit down with Jamal when I was with the Knicks, and I don't know why we didn't draft you. I might still be in New York, you know. So, but that was a huge mistake. But it's funny how things come full circle, and just the player that he is. And I was looking at his bio, and when he was at Rainier Beach High School, which are I believe the nickname are the Vikings.
Yes.
Yeah, which is appropriate in this area. They won the state championship, and so I always enjoyed Jamal's career and just how successful he was, and just the winning mentality, you know, dating way back to when he was in high school, and then everything he's done in the NBA. But to have him with our team and his experience, his leadership, and his play will really help our group. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I really am. I looked at, what was happening here and what was building. Obviously, Coach Tibbs, I've always been very fond of. Like you said, Scott, I've known since even before I entered the draft, and knowing Noah, and, just looking at different places and different scenarios. There's a lot of good options out there, but to me, this just made sense on every single level. Where the team was at. Obviously, when you have these two in place with Mr. Taylor, and you look at the team, you see the young forwards, you see Cat, you see Andrew Wiggins, and you see what they're building. Then to see, Jimmy come here, and Jeff and Taj and all these guys, you're like, they're serious, and I just saw where they were at and where they're going and where I think we'll end up. It just made sense on every level, and I'm excited to be here.
thank you, Jamal. We'll open it up to some questions. No microphone today. John?
There's not a lot often that we've seen in this organization's history a player turn down playing with LeBron to play here. How much did you kind of weigh not only the
Yeah, I weighed in everything, and like you said, I've known LeBron for a while, so it wasn't out the ordinary to have those kind of conversations. But I thought it'd be more meaningful to do it here. To be honest with you, I think the Cavs and the Warriors, they've been there. They know what it feels like to win a championship, to play in the finals, and I want to embrace this journey with these guys. I felt like having the right mix of veterans and the right mix of young guys and the leadership we have. Who knows how good we can be, but I wanted to experience with these guys and go through the wars and the struggles and just to really embrace the journey with these guys. And to me, that could be even more gratifying than, just going to a team that's already made and ready to win a championship. Hopefully, we can get there, but, we'll all go through it together, and I thought that was more meaningful.
Jamal, can you just elaborate a little bit on those conversations with LeBron? Pushed you pretty hard, or what was it like?
There were some good conversations. I don't want to get too much into it, but, he was just, talking, basically saying that, they had interest. They really did. And that was at the start of this whole thing because I didn't know the whole trade and, buyout would work like it did. I was just actually there 2 days before helping get Blake to come back to L.A., so I didn't know. Everything started moving so fast. So he was really interested, though, and he let me know that. Oh, man, the most fun period of time. I would have to say probably going to Atlanta for the first time because I had to really give of myself. I had never come off the bench at that time. They already had a starting unit in place with Horford and Bibby and Marvin, Josh, and Joe Johnson. And at that point in my career, I was going to year 9, and I was known as a great scorer, but on bad teams. And I was like, I'll do whatever it takes to win. So I learned a lot about myself, saying I'll come off the bench and I want to be part of a winning team. You got to believe in something bigger than yourself. And for me, that was probably the most fun to really truly give myself, and it worked out for our team.
Jamal, the raw numbers weren't as good last season. Was it same game, just not as many shots for
Yeah, well, for me, it was like you said, just a year and a half or 2 years ago, I won Sixth Man of the Year. And even that year, I wasn't really supposed to win it because we added people. We added our second unit consisted of myself, Austin Rivers, Josh Smith, Lance Stevenson, and Paul Pierce. So at that time, I kind of knew I was going to have to sacrifice. And so if you look at that, I think my shots in minutes are the lowest they've been since year 3. So I can't sacrifice on one end and say, hey, you're not scoring the same amount on this end. They kind of, correlate. But for me, I'm really, really motivated. I'm excited about this opportunity.
You did play 82 games. How did that come about?
I just taking care of myself. I think the way you live, you have to be a professional on and off the court. And I think a lot of it goes into when you're not actually on the court, but preparing, getting the proper rest, working out, eating right, taking care of yourself. I think for me, and just God, honestly, I mean, we're playing out there against the best players in the world and not having any knick-knack injuries and things of that nature. But I was proud of that from the standpoint that being one of the first players, I think, in year 17 to play all 82 games was a cool accomplishment. Yeah, it's very intriguing because I remember having that. I think when you've been in the league long enough, you've had some really good veterans. I had guys like Allen Houston and Grant Hill and Chauncey Billups, Scottie Pippen, guys that Rick Brunson, who was my first vet, guys of that nature to kind of show me the way. These guys have a lot of talent, and obviously when you mix the two, I think that's kind of the recipe for success when you have the proper coaching and leadership along with that. And everybody's pulling the same way. There's no agendas. We all may have to sacrifice a little bit, but if it's for the betterment of the team, then it was well worth it. And I think that's kind of the message.
Jamal, 17 years you've been in the league. Have you amazed what the NBA has become? We now worry about who won the summer league.
Yeah, and what shoes they have on. Man, things have changed totally. They really have. And just seeing how the game's evolved, it was a lot more physical when I came in. You were kind of frowned upon as a point guard if you took 8 to 10 threes. Now, it's kind of the scoring point guard mode. So things have changed, but it's been fun. I think the game's going to continue to evolve. Before it was more isolation, more post-ups. Now it's all about threes and getting layups. So it's fun. It's fun to see where the game will go, but I think with the way our team is shaping up, we'll have no problem adjusting.
How do you think you fit in times offense?
I think really good. I really do. I think I can make plays for people. I think I can play out of the pick and roll a lot. I think he'll use me in, ways of pin downs, misdirection type things. So I'm really, really excited about that. And I know he's going to challenge me defensively, so that'd be good too.
Tom, in Chicago, you always had the reserve guards who stepped up and really carried the offense. None of them were really as offensively gifted as Jamal is. Is that always been kind of something you look for with your teams, and he maybe best fit that role versus anybody else you could have?
Well, I think the fact that he's excelled in both roles, he started, and there was a stretch where he virtually averaged 20 points a game for a long period of time. His durability, but the way he can come off the bench, and it doesn't take him a long time to get going. As soon as he walks into the game, you're aware. And I know from coaching against him, you have a game plan for him, a specific game plan. You have to defend him into the game. And I think anybody who commands that type of attention makes the game easier for his teammates. And that was the one thing, and Alan mentioned him averaging 3.5 assists. That gets overlooked. He's a very unselfish player, and when you double team him, he will hit the open man. So I think that'll be beneficial to us as well. But he can score a lot of different ways. You can put him in a pick and roll. He can handle the ball. You can make him a screener. You can pin down for him. You can misdirect. You can catch and shoot. He's great in transition. So there's a lot of different ways in which he can score, and he's done that for a long period of time. And I think his understanding of the league. You're talking about a guy 17 years in the league. He's seen every defense there is to see. He knows how to take advantage of things. He knows what his reads are. And the fact that, he's very creative, he doesn't take him a lot of room to get his shot off. So I think that's a big plus. And then defensively, he likes to be challenged, and we'll challenge him.
So do you construct your bench with offensively gifted guys and kind of carry the load for that second unit?
Well, I think, you want to look at your primary scorers and what they like to do, and then you want to try to take advantage of that. So you look at what their strengths are. You'll design things that they have done well. There's a lot of things that he's excelled at, and I know the things that are hardest to defend against him, because in preparing against him for so many years, you know the things that cause problems. So we'll make sure that those things are in for him. But he's very creative. You have to give him the freedom where he can take advantage of things that he likes to do, and then make sure that it fits within the framework of the team, and to play for each other. And he has sacrificed a lot. And I know I'm very familiar with the Clipper people. Obviously my relationship with Doc, and he did everything Doc asked him to do, and he asked him to sacrifice last year, and he did. And so when you need him to score in the playoffs, they needed him to score more, and he did that as well. So I think he'll do whatever we ask him to do. Well, I think when you look at what he's done, he's probably going to be in the mid-20s, somewhere in there. Right now, we have to fill out the roster, and you have Jimmy and Wig, and Jamal has the versatility to play, the two, the point, and he's been on the floor with small lineups as well. So I think it gives us great flexibility. We can have lineup in which we have Jeff, and he's played with Jeff before, so he's very familiar with him. So we could have Jeff, Jamal, Wig, Jimmy can go down to the 4, and Carl at the 5. I don't know how you would defend that group.
Jamal, 18, this year, 18th season, what do you do? It's an 8-month season. What do you do in the off-season to get yourself ready?
Play basketball. I do every single day. No, there's no rest. For me, I think shape has no age. You know what I mean? So for me, I think the way I look at it is, if you take too much time off, if you took a job in, let's say, Chicago or New York, and you were gone from your home for 9 months, and then you try to come back and, start the car, start the lights, they may pop, the car may not start, as fluid. So for me, I just keep going, and I just try to stay ready so I don't have to get ready. I just continue to go, continue to play. I love the game. I think, before anything else, I've loved basketball. Before I had a wife and kids or anything, it was just me and my basketball, and I've always stayed true to that. And I think, the game has been good to me because I always stayed true to that.
Scott, when you talk about adding character guys to this group, I mean, when you see what Jamal's done over the years in terms of accepting that
It's always fascinating when players sacrifice for the group. And Coach mentioned earlier about the unselfish play. So I think Jamal has done that in his career. The other example would be working with Manu and his sacrifices coming off the bench. And there's a lot of character issues there with both guys. I think that is the reason they've had success and the reason that they've shared in victory, willing to sacrifice some of their game and their play to help the group. It's impressive because very few people do that, or very few people embrace that, and that's an impressive quality.
When you think about the offensive firepower of this group, it's kind of been assembled. You look at it, seven deep, and just about everybody can score.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It really is, and that's the great thing about Tibbs. He puts you in position. If you look at Wiggs or you look at Cat or Zach even last year, the jump these guys made, and it's unbelievable. So to have that kind of firepower and know that, every night may not be your night, but we all respect each other enough to know that if a guy gets it going, we're going to feed him and play off of that, because in the end it's about us winning, and that's all it's about. So it's exciting, though. It really is to play with that kind of firepower. A little bit of both. Before I knew I was coming off the bench in Atlanta, even pickup runs back home, I wouldn't play the first game just so I could see it and see how that would feel. I was trying to trick myself that I was coming off the bench at that time. So I tried to develop that. But for me, I think missing a couple shots don't deter me. Coming off the bench sometimes, it's tough. You go get loose, then you sit on the bench for 20 minutes or whatever until coach calls you in. So you may miss a couple shots. But I remember one game, I missed my first 4 shots, but then I hit 16 straight. So you can't be deterred by anything that's not going your way. You just got to find a way and make it happen.
Anyone else? All right, we'll have a photo op here with Tom, Scott, and Jamal, and then they'll be available for one-on-ones. Thanks for everyone attending today's event.